When I think about cruising, I think about college drunk people hooking up on a ship and it being disgusting. I don't think about luxury cruising. When I hear you say adults only cruising, I'm thinking about like a big hookup culture. Was there like a party hookup culture on Virgin
I'm not
or no?
saying that didn't happen, and disclosure, not with me.
Sure. Married, mom. Okay. All right. Okay,
I have some, boundaries at this point in my life.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day to all the travel nerds out there. We have one of my favorite people in the world, Cait Busscher, on the pod today. You may know Cait from a prior episode where she came on and dished on all things Disney, leadership, and a bunch of other things. We just ended up asking her weird random questions, and Cait is always down to play ball. Cait is on the pod today because she is a loyal, dare I say, maybe obsessed Disney person, and she's been on many Disney cruises. Her husband works for the Disney Cruise Line, which makes it oddly convenient to cruise Disney. Even if he didn't work there, I think that she would still cruise Disney. Is that
yes,
fair,
I
Cait?
am a lifelong theme park, Disney, all things enthusiast.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you force Andrew to get a job there to like optimize your life?
There was a time in my life where I was trying to apply for, he worked for Marriott, and I was trying to work for an airline so that with our powers combined, we could be the ultimate travel couple. I didn't fulfill my part of that bargain.
You don't want to work for an airline. You don't want that.
You don't want to work for an airline.
That life.
I mean, I think you would do good as like a stewardess, but you would also kind of be a badass pilot.
Ooh.
So, I mean, yeah. And pilots, we just did an episode on pilots where basically across the big three airlines, pilots ended up getting, I don't know, like a 30-40% raise. Raking it in. So these people are making bank now. So, if a career in communications and leadership doesn't work out, you could take to the skies.
Personality hires in the pilot industry. So
a person, oh my God, that's such a funny word, personality hire. Like someone who are like, well, this person may not know how to fly the plane, but they're great for morale.
Exactly.
I feel like that's why I got hired, actually. I feel like I was a personality hire. Kenny's like, you're going to do a podcast. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, you're fine. You'll be fine.
No, not a personality hire, Connor. Okay, but let's cut to the chase. So you recently cheated on Disney Cruise Lines with Virgin. I would love for you to tell the audience a little bit about Virgin's offering. So let's start there.
Yes, well, first, right out the gate, I feel like this is comparing apples to oranges. It's two incredible but totally different experiences. So first off, this was my first adults-only cruise. It's 21 and up, which is automatically going to give it a little bit of a different vibe. I have a kiddo, as you all know,
totally.
So this was a kind of great opportunity to tap into a version of myself that maybe has been dormant for a little while, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Spring break, mom's
cruise. Gone wild. Oh, no, that was not Mom's Gone Wild. That's a little bit much. But yeah, it was really wonderful because I was 21 and older, and it is still what I would consider a premium cruise. So it's not like we're on one of those lesser expensive cruises where a bunch of 18 or 20 somethings go to get trashed, because I'm a little bit too old for that at this point in my life. So this was a really nice mix of, it was an adults only cruise. So we had a good bit of fun, but it was like classy fun, if that makes sense.
Totally does. For somebody who's not, okay, the last cruise I went on was 15 years ago. And I'm a baby anyway. So saying that I did something 15 years ago, I don't know anything about cruising. Like, give me like a sales pitch as to why I should go on an adult cruise.
Well, cruising is an excellent option because you pretty much take everything with you. It requires minimum planning. You all know I do love a good research, create my own itinerary type trip, but for the sake of my husband, who likes his vacations to feel like a vacation where you actually relax and get pampered a bit, a cruise is a really nice compromise. because we get, and especially because this was a new cruise line for me, I got that little bit of novelty and excitement, but with the convenience of everything's there for you, everything's included. We're not taking out our credit cards all the time. And he has this like psychological mindset that he can enjoy things more if he knows how much they cost up front. And it's not like you come home, you open up this bill, you're like, whoa, we had a lot of fun. So there's a big benefit to that. It's just kind of like an easy way to travel.
Gotta get my ass on a cruise. Kenny, when's your last cruise?
So my last cruise was a pseudo professional cruise with Lamont. They were kind enough to invite us onto a work cruise. So we did a 3-day sailing out of Los Angeles, which was nice. And it was my first time on a cruise since I've only been on 3 cruises in total. I did one for spring break, which was the one that Cait was talking about. The spring break one was your like quintessential college spring break cruise. And that was the last time that I ever had rum. And so yeah, my last rendezvous with rum, I was face down on a beach. It was actually probably the closest that I've gotten to death. And I just took like 7 or 8 shots of rum. I can't even smell rum now. Someone tried to give me a rum runner at a conference. Maybe it was like 7 months ago. I sniffed it like a bloodhound from like, you know, the drink was like 6 inches from my face. I almost launched that over my shoulder and just get this out of my face. My bloodhound like senses for smelling and just rejecting rum at my core are very high because of the Bahamas and some kind of trashy rum that we all did shots on at a beach. And then I threw up in my friend Adrian's backpack, like not my finest moment, but when I think about cruising, I think about college drunk people hooking up on a ship and it being disgusting. I don't think about luxury cruising. So it's weird for me when I hear you say adults only cruising, I'm thinking about like a big hookup culture. Was there like a party hookup culture on Virgin
I'm not
or no?
saying that didn't happen, and disclosure, not with me.
Sure. Married mom. Okay.
I have some, boundaries at this point in my life. But it was funny because I had a few people following along with my stories, and someone messaged me and they said like, I have a feeling, or someone must have said to them something like, this is like a swingers type cruise. And I was like, well, I can't really confirm or deny that, but it wouldn't strike me as super surprising because one of the things I loved about the vibe and the guests on the cruise were everyone's just down to have a good time. People were super friendly, super open. Everyone's just talking with each other. And it was like the definition of good vibes only.
Swinger parties are usually like that.
I can neither confirm nor deny. I do not know personally. I'm just saying people were having a good time. There was definitely a party atmosphere. I don't want to say that it was like, oh, we're all here, we're all adults, and we're all just on our best behavior. There was a range. You don't have to be a partier to go on it. A lot of people ask, like, I'm a little bit more reserved, but I still have fun. I think there's something for everyone. It was really cool because there was people playing like cornhole, and it felt like a little bit like I was on like the sorority square with people just chilling with beers. There's people that are like dancing in the pool. There was just like a whole range. There's people just like hanging out playing trivia. So it was really fun. Andrew and I would say I leaned in a little bit more to our college versions of ourselves.
Yeah,
okay.
That's where we met, and I do like to dance. I do like to have a good time. So it was really fun to feel completely unencumbered. What I will say about this cruise is I didn't feel any kind of pressure to be places, internal or otherwise. There's sometimes on cruises where there's like, okay, dinner's at this time, and then after this there's a show, and then like you're like, hey, we got to get to this place. Come on, let's go in the air. Kids, get your shoes on. Come on, we're gonna be late. There was none of that on this. If I fell asleep next to the pool and I missed something, like, okay, it'll roll around again. And it was just chill. Nobody was ever in a bad mood. Again, maybe because there was no children around to get us all worked up. I love traveling.
That'll do it.
But with that comes some of the, there's give and take. Like there's a lot of fun, sweet, wonderful memories, and then there's the meltdowns. It's part of the bag that you get. But in here, it was just good vibes only.
What would you say to those parents that are like, I can't go on vacation without my kid. I feel so bad. I can't leave them here. Like the importance of you guys just going on a vacation together, right? Didn't that just kind of change the game for the rest of the year?
Do it. Like you have to do it. And this is coming from somebody that surprisingly feels that way sometimes. And I was always the ultimate traveler. I really took umbrage when people would say to me, oh, travel now. So when you have kids, y'all won't be doing that anymore. And
I hate when people say that shit.
Like,
I'm like,
life is over and everything sucks once you have kids. I just feel like it's not super, it comes from a good place. But I never felt like it was super helpful to someone who lives and thrives on traveling. So I always said to myself, like, no, my life's not going to stop. I'm going to incorporate my kiddo into my life, but also still take the time for me and my husband. Like your marriage is also like a foundational part of your family. I will say after having my kiddo, because I think he's the best, obviously, it is hard to leave because you feel like you're missing stages sometimes. So there always is that little bit of that feeling of, oh, I can't believe I'm leaving him. But the flip side of that is you get to be better in your marriage or relationship or just on your own. You know, if you're a single parent, you get to work on that really important foundational relationship, which makes you a better parent for that kid, a better person, you know? So it was so nice for Andrew and me to have that time together and really reconnect and have no other responsibilities to anybody else but ourselves. So I highly, highly recommend it. And it was only 5 nights. So, you know, we just drove down to Miami, hopped on the boat, and we were back before he even realized we were gone.
My parents traveled so much when I was a little kid, and my brother and I would have, you know, grandma come, our aunt come, or a babysitter. And it's like, that's a fun memory for us. We don't think back on it and think, oh, they left us a lot. We're like, we had so much fun with babysitters. Yeah. So any parent that feels bad, it's like, they don't care. They just get to eat ice cream and watch movies with a babysitter. Leave them. I love that.
And you know,
imagine when he's like grown up and you get to travel like, you know, together and go have a beer when he's 16 in London or something. That's so fun.
16.
What? That's what 16? They do. It's going to be fun for him.
Unramping to corrupt little Cameroni.
Yeah, my bad.
No, I love it.
He doesn't have to know.
Cait, you actually said something pretty interesting about the guilt of traveling with kids. And I've heard this twice in my life. Once was in 3rd grade by a substitute teacher who basically got a lesson from my 3rd grade real teacher who called out, and he just went rogue and just tossed the lesson in the trash, and he taught his own lesson. And then I heard the same lesson, call it like, I can't do the math right now, but maybe a decade later in college. So I've heard this twice, and once was from a 3rd grade sub, which is insane, and the other was from a PhD professor. So and it's always stuck with me. And basically, there's a lot of research that says that the greatest gift that you can give your child is not like vacations or play or anything like that. It's to show your child how to love your spouse, to just model healthy attachment, healthy love. And it's the single greatest gift that you can give your kid outside of anything else that you do. And there's so many times where you see moms or I would say moms are a little bit more guilty than this than dads. But if dads are guilty of this, that's pretty cool too, where moms get so obsessed with their kids and they kind of forget about their husband. And it's actually working against you. Like if you really loved your kid so much, you'd actually love them a little bit less and the husband a little bit more. And so I forget what the guy's name is that was my sub, but he went into like a deep lesson to teach a bunch of 3rd graders this, which was insane and not age appropriate. But he just did it anyway. We're all like, what are you talking about? Like our moms pack our lunches still, right? So I don't know. This is a little bit over my head, but then in my master's program, we heard the same lesson, and then we heard all the science and research backed by it. So if you hear this and you're out there and you're thinking about, should we ditch the kid? You actually should ditch the kid. It's for the kid's benefit.
Modeling is one of the best ways to teach your kid. Did we just make this into a parenting podcast? So sorry, but I agree. I think taking time, again, if it's not travel, if it's, you know, pottery or whatever it is that moves you, I think it's really important to kind of hold on to that quintessential part of yourself and not completely lose it.
Pottery.
Yeah, I don't know why pottery.
Don't give up the pottery. You can still be a good parent.
Connor's good at pottery too. So it's a little secret skill. We actually did some pottery work a few months ago, and I was looking at this chick. I was like, have you fucking done this before? I was like, and then she's a good painter of the pot too. I look over, I'm painting this thing like I'm wasted. It looks horrible. It honestly looks like I failed second grade art class. And then Connor is looking like Picasso over here. I was like, I actually thought that she was lying to me. She's like, yeah, this is my first time. I was like, I call BS, but secret hidden talent for Connor. Good with
the
See, hold on to the pottery. I was like weirdly pretty good at it. Yeah, I like artsy stuff like that. So that was right up my alley. I felt like what's her name? Patrick Swayze.
I was thinking of Ghost too. I didn't know it was an appropriate.
Yeah, I was just like channeling it. The pot turned out kind of weird, but I like it. Gotta go scoop that up. We haven't gotten those in 4 months.
Maybe more.
Oh, they're still there?
Okay.
Yeah, you're supposed to pick them up like a few weeks, and then a few weeks turns into a month. Maybe we'll pick them up in like 2026. We'll just be like, hey, we heard back in the day we did these things. And then Connor Ann has done a bunch of other pottery work, and she's like proficient now. We actually talked about doing like a weird pottery channel for TikTok, because there was a moment where like good looking people on TikTok were doing like pottery, and those videos were going crazy. They would just be telling a story doing like pottery, and those TikToks were blowing up. So we're like, well, maybe we'll get like a pottery wheel, and we'll do travel news.
We'll buy a pottery wheel. We go so intense. Instead, we spend $20,000 on a pottery wheel.
Your ceramics are sitting in a room like the land of forgotten toys, like that Christmas special. They're going to do that with your.
Yeah.
I went by myself not that long ago to just do pottery by myself. There's one right by my house. And I was like, it's cool to casually pick up new hobbies. I was like, is this a new hobby of mine? I need to do more different hobby things because I just watch a lot of TV when I'm not doing anything. But I like the idea of adopting new skills like that.
I'm sorry. We've totally derailed from Virgin Voyages, but
all right, Virgin, I have a question. I want to do a comparison on food. So I'm not a big cruise food guy. Every time, I don't know what it is. You know what I think is that I don't have self-control. So I see a buffet and then all of a sudden I'm downing 3,000, 4,000, or 5,000 calories a day. Like if you give me unlimited French toast, I will eat until I throw up. Right. So, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know. But just compare me like quality of food, because there's sometimes when I've been on cruises, and I haven't been on as many as you, where I think the food quality, the like mass produceness of the food, I don't feel good. I don't know what it's made with or what happens there, but I just come off of a cruise ship and I'm like, I just can't wait to eat normal food at my house again. So give me the food scene on Disney versus
I will
Virgin.
say that you're probably doing it right if you're coming off a cruise feeling like you never want to eat again. I feel like that's half the reason you go on a cruise with this all-inclusive bit is it's all just there for you to eat uncontrollably. I mean, midnight pizza, it's a thing. You have to do the unlimited ice cream. I mean, you just can't say no to that. I will say, though, I agree with you. I do not enjoy crappy mass-produced food. It makes me feel awful. And with instant regret, right? Like you eat it and you're like, maybe it was good for like the second, like it hit your lips, but then there's instant regret. I will say both Disney and Virgin have excellent food. Now, again, I haven't been on any other cruise ships. I can imagine, especially some of the lower end ones, that it is mass produced, just kind of like mess hall style. And I don't think I would enjoy that at all. Virgin I'd heard only wonderful things about the food on Virgin. I can confirm it is excellent. They don't even have a buffet. You go to what's called the galley, and they have all these like fresh made to order. They have like a salad bar. They have an all day breakfast diner. They have a burger bar. They have acai bowls. They have
all day breakfast diner. I'd be so into that. Diner hash browns at any moment.
They're hash browns. Oh my gosh, they're hash browns.
What? I'm about to cook that right after this.
So good. They did breakfast burritos there. It was just.
I love a breakfast burrito.
Now, the galley, of course, was a bit more of a quick service, but it wasn't a buffet. They made it to order, and it was a bit more like I would say like Chipotle level, right? Like it's fast casual but good. the sit down restaurants you make reservations for, they have 6 of them. Those, especially the steakhouse and the Italian restaurant, I would pay to eat that food on land. Yes,
Really?
We were super impressed. We almost didn't go to the steakhouse actually because I'm like, it's steak, it's steak on a boat. I mean, I just don't know how that can be worth it. But
oh, no way. What an interesting steak anywhere is, well, you know what? Steak at Applebee's, steak at Outback, those suck. But steak on a boat was better than
yeah, it was really good.
Connor, what's that look? So for those of you who can't see, Connor's giving me like this crazy look.
I just didn't know we were openly shitting on Outback on the pod. I love Outback. How dare you?
Oh my God.
I don't want people to think
you gotta eat at nicer steakhouses than Outback. I mean, Cait.
Sweetheart, me sound like an 85-year-old man. Listen, sweetheart, you haven't had a real steak. Yeah. Leave me and my bloomin' onion alone, honestly.
Listen, am I in the minority here? Cait, I mean, are you going to back me up? Do you think
Outback or any kind of those mass chain 80s, 90s restaurants?
All right, well, y'all aren't allowed to go to Chick-fil-A anymore.
Oh, wait, what? You're just trying to ban us from spots because you feel sore about it or sour?
I just don't want the podcast as a whole to be known as hating on Outback. That's all. That's it. The rolls? The bread? Are you kidding me?
Trash.
I don't even
know.
Like the dark brown bread. You guys don't even see. You don't get it. It's fine.
The pumpernickel bread. No, I've been there. I've done that. I've been poor in college, and I've been poor in college, and I've gotten a gift card to Outback. And when I went there, I was like, oh, Outback, this is nice. I have a gift card. And then I go, and I'm like, that's trash. Yeah, this is all bad. It's not good. It would be fine if they closed down. Honestly, yeah. Do you know what? Okay, here's what I'd say. There's an Outback by your house. I've been to that one because I used to live there too. So go to that Outback tonight. Have yourself a little dinner, okay? And then we'll go eat. We'll go eat somewhere later in the week or later in the month, maybe in like Paris or London. And then I want you to remember that the way Outback made you feel and taste. And then we'll do a little comparison.
We can't always have, London-esque fancy restaurant food. Sometimes, also speaking as a person who doesn't feel, I don't feel out of the like poor category yet, but I'll get there. You're like, one day when you're making yeah, well, we're working on it. But I do, I do love me some Outback. So I just want to say for the pod really quick, Outback, yes or no? Because Kenny has strong opinions. I don't know how this
Outback, no. Outback, no.
All right. Well, I guarantee you if producer Molly could speak in here and she wasn't just on producer mode, she would also pop off about Outback.
All right, Molly. Molly's in the chat. We will give you a voice. Cait will read whatever that you write in the voice of Molly. So Molly, we're going to give you a second. Connor is pro Outback. I am saying no to Outback. Oh, can Molly come on the pod?
Oh, shit. Welcome to the chat.
Oh, all right, Cait, read what Molly wrote.
Where do I see that? Oh, chat.
So the chat is going to be bottom right. Yeah.
Okay. I'm so mad at you, Kenny. I'm so pissed. The rules are fire. Love Molly.
I like how Molly's voice out of Cait's mouth is like a little boy from like old England, like 18th century England. The rules are fire. Oh, it's great. Well, glad we settled that debate. It's a 50-50 over here.
Yeah, please, someone weigh in from the audience when you hear this. Like, let me know if I'm way off base and
You're
Outback.
So off base. Outback is never going to sponsor the pod now. I had this whole plan.
We're like in the works.
Free gift cards, free bloomin' onions for life. All right, fine. I concede.
In Google, there's the people ask section, right? So someone wrote, how many calories are in a whole blooming onion? So the caption is great. That baby looks dangerous. The dish contains a whopping 3,080 calories, which is probably why Outback recommends splitting the dish among 6 or more friends.
Listen, I can confidently say that I think I've had an entire bloomin' onion to myself.
Oh my God. Well, listen to this. So for those of you who are keeping track and maybe you have a long-standing affinity with Outback Steakhouse, the original blooming onion was only 1,954 calories. So they've made this thing
Less
worse for
healthy
you
over time.
More butter.
Like just adding everything bad. As food has gradually gotten better for you, Outback was like, when the market zigs, we zag. We're going to take this blooming onion down. So yeah, blooming onion, stay away from. Your arteries will thank you. Your body will thank you. And just overall, if you want to avoid Outback Steakhouse, if there's an Outback Steakhouse on the cruise, you shouldn't even do it on a boat.
Wouldn't do it on a boat. Wouldn't do it on a float. Wouldn't do it in the air. Wouldn't do it
Anyway. I was just thinking, Kenny and I did an episode about all-inclusive resorts, and we were saying that the liquor is watered down because it's all-inclusive. You can order as many drinks as you want. They don't want people getting super drunky. I wonder if it's the same idea on a cruise, just making sure people aren't just over the side, giving you a little watered-down tequila.
Version. I think they're really excited for you to be drinking because it adds to the vibes. Y'all, we didn't pay for alcohol on our cruise at all. We had a $5.
Is that standard?
Well, so I think we booked a package that included a bar tab, and then right now, I think through next December, Virgin Voyages is matching status. If you have status on another cruise line, they give you perks on theirs. So we booked a package that gave us $300 bar tab, and then they matched our status, and so we each got an additional $100 bar tab for a grand total of $500 to spend on booze on our 5-night cruise.
That's
good.
That's a lot of booze.
And they also give out a lot of booze. Like, you go on.
She's like, challenge accepted.
Yeah, well, yes, that's where we need to use this before we get off this, which I think is how everyone feels. Because, first of all, they give out booze, right? Like, so for the sail away, they give everybody champagne. So you get straight up free champagne. We got invited to a couple special private events where there was free booze. There are some people that are in Rockstar suites, and again, everyone's super friendly. So we'd make friends with people, and they'd be like, hey, get some shots. And they would just put it on their fake tab. And then we had $500 of our own, which despite our best efforts, we were buying bottle service at one point. We left the cruise, and I'm sad to report we had $60 left on our tab, but I could not do any more.
You tried your hardest.
Yeah, you're like, excuse me, can I get that can I get that cash back? Thank you. $60 in cash. Thanks.
Can I get a Visa gift card?
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. Last time I was on a cruise, like I said, I was like 12. So long ago. So the only thing that mattered to me was learning how to origami the towels in the shape of an elephant and the free ice cream machine by the pool. So I only know it from kiddie perspective. I would love to go on an adult only cruise. It's really cool.
You got to do it.
Have you heard about this? It's called Life at Sea Cruises, and it's like a 3-year cruise. They're calling it the cruise that never ends, and you can pay to live. I know that's common, paying to live on a cruise ship now, but there's an actual cruise ship that's just made as a condo basically.
Is it like the world?
And it's $3,500 to $4,500 a month, and then you just travel the entire world for 3 years. What do we think of this? What's your opinion on that?
I would need to be rolled around, because if I eat on that cruise that never ends the way I eat on a normal cruise or drink on a normal cruise, I just don't think I would live past 3 years.
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's what they're counting on. They actually, it's designed to get you on a subscription, but then you die midway through the subscription, so they don't have to keep feeding you because the margins on cruises are probably not that great. Could you imagine how much weight that you would gain if you cruise for an entire year? Because there are these things that are popping up where seniors are opting to live on a cruise ship, and then there's a bunch of, so that's on like the lower end of stuff, right? And then there's a bunch of stuff on the higher end where there's these elevated brands like the Four Seasons where they're doing these extravagant vacations where you vacation for 6 months or like a year and they take you from place to place. Now, the price tags on those are, out of reach for 99.5% of everybody. But you kind of see this like eternal vacation movement happening on both ends, not just hyper luxury, but then kind of on like a mid-market option too.
I mean, have you seen WALL-E? That's the first thing I think of. Everybody just like gigantic sitting in little chairs that just zoom you around.
Well, there's like a running track on most cruises, and Virgin had a beautiful gym that we did every day.
Oh.
We are. Well, here's a question for y'all. When we travel, we go on vacation. We're vacation worker outers. We love to work out in real life, but when we go on vacation, we don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. I know this is a pretty divisive topic. Some people are like, hell no, I'm not working out on my vacation. Some people are like, I got all the time in the world. Why not? What about y'all?
Connor and I are on the same team as you. We work out when we travel 100%.
I like physically need it. Especially these conferences are just it's a lot of eating. It's a lot of that welcome champagne. And I just can't not go. I got to get a little sweat in or I just start feeling disgusting, especially the ones that are like, okay, we're on day 3 of 5. It's like, Jesus, you gotta move your body a little bit. It is tough though. I do pack my pre-workout in little suspicious looking Ziploc bags. TSA is always like, what is that?
You've never gotten stopped or questioned about packing?
Definitely questioned. They're like, what is this?
Really?
I'm like, if you take one big sniff of that, you're going to hate yourself because it's just going to be pre-workout straight to the brain. But yeah, I try to pack it if I can. I kind of can't work out without it on vacation because you're right. I don't like necessarily have the motivation, but I end up in the gym typically every day if I'm lucky.
Prepares you for later in the eating and drinking to resume.
Exactly. Awesome. Kenny, are there any other topics we wanted to cover with Cait?
No, I know that we're coming up on time and Cait has a big day starting a new job. And so we don't want to keep her too long. Thank you so much for stopping by. Can you say anything about the new job yet? Or do you not want to jinx it until you have like official paperwork and you've started?
I am getting fingerprinted today. So let's just keep fingers crossed they don't find any sketchy things in my history that preclude me. Like that time I was a spy or something.
Yeah. Well, you did live in China. Are you a Chinese national? Have you been turned by the Chinese, intelligence apparatus? You could be a plant.
You never know. So there might be some digging they have to do. So I should probably make sure I clear that. But I would love to, share that as soon as I can.
Yes.
All right. Fair enough.
And if you guys want to hear a little bit more about Cait, who she is and where she comes from, listen to episode 19. We did a whole episode with her. She'll teach you how to say Shanghai correctly. It's a whole thing. Go listen to it. Cait, thank you for coming and hanging out with us today.
Thank you so much. It's always a blast. And I think that a night at Fired Up for all of us might be in our near future.
Oh, a little pottery night. Love it. Let's do it.
No rum, though.
No rum. Yeah. Bring the tequila. If there's a high-end tequila, ship it my way. But no rum, no vodka either. Vodka's days are done, right?
The way you say it, I can't even hear it. Vodka. Vodka. Do you hear it? Is it just me? Vodka.
How should I say it? Oh my God, you're so annoying.
Vodka. I don't know. The way you say it is better. It's like you take the D out and then you give it like a little vodka. I like it.
All right, fair enough.